हम्म।
लाइक आप एक टैब पे लाइक थोड़ा यूट्यूब का अगर लाइव चैट खोलो उस करके एक समय
हम्म।
एक थोड़े से सेक्शन में I'll send you the link of the video as you know आप
Yeah,
like
just do that.
the link.
Sure.
Hello everyone will be like starting in 5 to 10. We'll be starting in like now from 5 minutes now. So I'd like to welcome you all to the fifth session of MUNX, fourth session of MUNX. We will be covering the topic of how to debate and lobby today. So today the trainer will be Mr. Akshat Mohan Awasthi. Bit about him. So he quotes, "The power to question is the basis of all human progress." This quote by Srimati Indira Gandhi does not only bring out the importance of curiosity, but also very aptly depicts Akshat's love for the Gandhi clan. A third year student of information technology, Mr. Awasthi is an idealist. Interest in politics, economics, and technology is not just a once in a 6 years episode, but the reason which made him getting into MUN and debating. He firmly believes that in an MUN, most of us have to lose a lot to learn how to win. But what matters the most is to not give up. His message to all of you is to never underestimate the power of and the essence of diplomacy. Be confident, enjoy, and give it your best. Your hard work will definitely pay off today or tomorrow. Shine on your crazy diamonds. May the odds be in your favor. You who keep questioning whether one can work academics and MUNs together, I guess Akshat Bhaiya is one of the best examples. Currently working at Google and an MUNer for years now. So over to you, Bhaiya. Welcome.
Hello everyone. Uh, Vinamra, if you could just give me some feedback if I'm audible to everyone here.
Yes, you're audible.
Sounds good. Okay. So thank you for the kind words. Just read out something that I wrote, I think, in ninth or 10th grade, and it's just getting edited once again, like again and again. So you might find a lot of discrepancies from here and there about what I'm doing and what my interests are and how things are going ahead in my life. So initially, I would like to thank IIIT to call me up as a trainer here to discuss about how to lobby and how to debate, not only at MUN specifically, initially actually in life, how to debate, how to create lobbies, how to lobby with people, get around, create blocks, how to actually engage in arguments, fruitful debates, create conversations that get something out in result. So my NUN journey started off a few years back, and the reason why I started was something that was simply that was something that people might find very silly right now, but it was just to learn how to speak in English. I'll speak more about how this journey has been and how all of you can carve out a journey for your next upcoming years to make good conclusive sharp arguments, debate with people, debate with your friends, with your peers, with your social group, with your friends, with your family, everyone, and not let it look like something that's a very negative or a condescending thing, because these days the biggest problem with the entire idea of debating is that it's more about fighting than it becoming about conclusive results, or it becoming about discussions and deliberations and trying to reach to a conclusive point to two two very different opinions. So I have prepared this little presentation for all of us to for me to deliver whatever I have to all of you. I've been just checking out the chat. A lot of people are greeting me here. Good evening, sir. So just for a simple heads up, for your life, just from now on, from today, just try to promise yourself that you would get out of the notion of using sir and ma'am. The entire concept of sir came from sire, which is a traditional old age British made concept for you to regard people who are above your social status. And trust me, I am not. So at any given point of time, you want to regard me, my name's Akshat. Please feel free to call me Akshat, and I'd be happy to answer all your questions, resolve all your doubts in whatever capacity I can. So let's kick out sirs and ma'ams out of our lives, out as the terminology. Respect people from your heart. Calling me Akshat is completely all right. There's no need to call me sir. So yeah, so I'd start sharing the presentation that I have. Just give me a moment. Remember, if you could just give some feedback if my presentation is getting
Visible, totally visible.
visible. Sounds good. Okay, so just starting off with a topic for today, how to debate and lobby. So these are two very simple terms, very simple concepts that have been, complicated for no, interesting, important reason. Okay, so we're gonna try to debug. We're gonna try to together solve these mysteries of why debating and lobbying are seen as such crucial yet complicated topics, and how they are not, how they are absolutely simple in life, and how these two skills in your life can help you out, can help you out achieve a lot that you wish to. So I think I've spoken enough about myself, but just to make things a little comfortable here, um, I've been munning since I was 13 years old. It's been quite some time, so I just don't want that people ask me my age right now. But yeah, it's been a fair share amount of time where I've been spending my time to learn as much as possible from this activity. So the story that was there was so when I was in eighth grade, I went to this MUN, and what happens is that I was told that I am not great at spoken English. So there's this activity that's fairly new to the schooling concept. And how about you try doing something like this? So the only intent for me to do this activity that day was that okay, I'll go there for 3 days, I'll learn how to speak, and I'll come back. There was no other intent to win or to debate or to argument or to make a point or to uh, you know um, to show how valid my points are. The only reason why I went there was I just wanted to learn how to speak. And I go there, and uh, during the break there is someone who sends me a copy of eighth grade English grammar book, uh, and there was a chit in front of it which says use it. It was a very condescending thing back then, and I felt as if someone's trying to bring me down. But that is where the story started. That is where the entire point started. That okay, if someone's trying to bring me down and not letting me learn, I will try harder, learn this the best, and improve on my spoken written English just as a language. So I think that is when that learning attitude comes into play. So I think all of you who are here today have crossed that barrier of that attitude being there. You already have that learning spirit, that learning attitude, probably because of which on a Sunday evening you're here to learn about how to debate and how to lobby. Um, so a lot of people still ask me that, why am I doing this activity? Uh, so this activity has never been something that's for my CV, or something that I want trophies from, or something that would come on my resume so that it helps me reach something, reach somewhere, or catch a goal. It's always been a skill that I think is it's a continuous process which I'm trying to go through so that I can become a better version from what I have been tomorrow. So yeah, so I think that's a little about myself. That's the story that why MUNs need to be done, why debating needs to be done, why this activity is important for everyone at whichever, irrespective of whichever sphere of life they are at. So I think there have been two sessions that have been taken before, 2 to 3 sessions that have been taken before my session on debating and lobbying. These are the core fundamental sessions that come in and would help you craft your debate, craft your speeches, understand what is debating and lobbying, which I think the sessions are very well planned, and were these sessions were the foundation of reaching to learn how to debate or lobby, about understanding the concept of Model United Nations and understanding how to research and how to make documents. So debating and lobbying are two very fundamental parts of doing an MUN, and you need to know what an MUN is. You need to know how to research for an MUN before you create a debate. So when you're creating something that's your speech, you need to have material and content for it, for which something, for which you need to know how to research, or how to research is essentially important, which was I think the session just before mine, and the fundamental core, which is about understanding Model United Nations and understanding what this activity is all about. So this session is very well placed in the series of sessions of how the course or your journey of MUNing would go ahead. So now, what is essentially debating? Given the fact that Google tells out that debating is a formal discussion on a particular matter, um, debating can be anything from you sitting with your family talking about different opinions to you going to a competition discussing different ideas and opinions with people. So, given the fact that debating hears out or gives out a lot of different definitions, there is a different form of debate at different spheres of life. You debate more or less every other day. It is just that sometimes you are ready for a debate, sometimes you are that hindrance from your insight is there, sometimes it's not. So a few pointers that I have about debating is that one very major issue with debating is that speaking up is not a lot of people's natural instinct. What I mean by that is that in a group of 10 people, a lot of times you might have different views, but you always have that scared, like you're always that scared inside yourself to speak up, and you're always scared if your point would be clear or not, if you should be saying your point, if you should even try to deliver your point or not. One major hindrance is that while that comes from two things. One is your personality, and the personality or heredity. The other is uncertainty. So uncertainty is when you're not sure if what you are about to say is something that would be right or wrong. A lot of times you're not sure if what you're about to say would make sense or not. A lot of times you're not sure if the point that you're about to put would be accepted by other people or not, because as social animals we are always seeking social validation, which makes it difficult for you to get which makes it difficult for you to speak up. And for personality, I'm sure a lot of people would regard themselves as introverts or ambiverts who actually find it difficult to speak up and to, tell and give out their points to other people. In a very similar fashion, I remember Mark Twain saying that, Mark Twain has a very famous quote that he says that there are just two kinds of people in this world. One who accept that they are feared, that they have some fear inside themselves to speak in front of people, and the other are liars. So it is always that a lot of people, even however experienced you are, you would have some fear initially to speak up. But this fear is something that can be gotten off by yourself by a few practices that we can try, which would help you get out of this fear. Transformative power of debating is something that I've seen over the years. Transformative power of debating means that once you start debating, there are I think Vinamra, is my voice fine? I'm getting a lot of feedback that my voice is breaking. Can you just let me know for that?
It's fine, like a bit कभी कभी बीच में हल्का सा, but like in general it's working. It's really
Okay,
good.
sounds good. Okay. So transformative power of debating is a lot of times I've come across peers, friends who've had issues with speaking up, who've had issues, who stammer, who have issues with their ideas, who are not vocal with what they feel. Once they start debating, things get better. So I would tell you two instances which have been there very evident in my life. There's one delegate who used to stammer, and I'm sure he was a delegate in my committee for about 5 to 6 times. Where he started, he came up to me, and during the break he told me that I have this issue. I stammer a lot with a few words. So will that be an issue? Will I be able to debate ever, or will I be able to do this MUN activity? And I'm just trying to you know uh, work on myself. Now, one, when I met him, I told him that once you've embarked on this journey, you do 5 to 6 of them, you'd get better each and every time. And by the sixth or seventh MUN that I met him, his voice, his speech was way more clear than what he was initially. That was one transformative story. The other transformative story is that there is a close friend of mine who believes and who feels very dearly about LGBTQ rights. Now, when that person started debating, and when they started coming for MUNs, they did not really feel very confident to come forward and talk to people about it and share their experiences about this. While after doing a few MUNs, or after debating with a few people about this, they got the confidence in themselves to speak up, talk to people about it, and deliver what they've actually felt for quite a few years. So do not expect that this 15 slide PPT would be the solution or would be a crack deal to how to debate or how to lobby. These sessions, these 15 slide PPTs, would be just a starting point to help you out, help yourself. So you need to start looking in the mirror and practicing every day about whatever you write, about whatever you feel, because that's going to be something that's going to give you that confidence that you need to talk to people. It sounds very stupid initially when you hear about things, tricks such as standing in front of the mirror and talking to yourself. Probably a few people might see you and call you stupid for that, but that these are the hurdles that you're gonna get over. Look in the mirror, practice each and every day before your speeches, so that you get that confidence with what you're trying to deliver. Now, the other point is that whenever you stumble across something, okay, and you would see that even right now, whenever I'm trying to build sentences, I would relax, breathe, pause for a second or two to figure out what I'm trying to say, to figure out what I'm trying to deliver right now. So it is completely all right for you to relax, breathe, and speak. Okay? Because at all given points of time, if panic is something that takes over your head, you might be a great orator, but that might not make you, deliver the best pointers that you have in your speech. So whenever you're giving a speech, even if you stumble across a few things, even if you are not able to recollect what you had to say, even if you are not able to form the correct sentence, it is all right. Remember yourself, or remind yourself that it's completely all right to stumble. It is completely all right to fall over, but what is important is that you get up and you try to build a sentence again. And you would understand and you would notice that after, say, an instance or two, you get much better with it. You get much calmer, more relaxed when you're giving a speech. Now, a lot of people have told me that we get really we get really shy, or we get really intimidated or really scared when people look at us and we have to look at them and give a speech. And a lot of people might tell you that, hey, look in the other person's eye and give a speech. Now, in such a case, just one simple trick that I would give you is that if you can't look someone in the eye, try to look at their forehead. What happens in that case is that you don't have to maintain eye contact. The other person will look at you, and it would always seem that you're looking at them in the eye, but you would be looking at their forehead. What makes this as a workaround good enough is that this makes things easier for you. This shows that you're confident while you're speaking. Along with all of this, this gives the other person an impression that you're trying to deliver whatever you have as pointers with all determination and confidence. So, a few pointers. One, it's all right if speaking is not your natural instinct. All of us as humans have that, and it completely comes out because of the fear of personality or uncertainty. Second, believe in the transformative power of debating. It would do wonders, it would transform you as a person from what you are today to someone else 5 years down the line. Um, Third, whenever you're giving a speech, relax, breathe, try to stay as calm as possible. Fourth, whenever you're not having the confidence to look someone in the eye, try to use their foreheads. Okay. Fifth, this session is just for you to know that every day, do yourself a favor, go to go to your washroom, stand in front of the mirror, speak out whatever you've written for 5 minutes, and you would see the difference in the confidence of what you were saying, how you were saying things initially, and how you were saying things, after you've done it 5 times. So that's about a few quick pointers about debating. And one very obvious pointer is that you would learn about the world around yourself by debating. So debating is not only, so I might debate with you about a certain topic. It is completely all right for you to accept at the end and understand that, okay, the opinion that I had initially was not the best. I've learned this about the world around, and I think that this is my new opinion. So whenever you debate, you would come across a lot of different perspectives. You would come across a lot of different ideas, notions about the society, about the world, that that are hidden from your understanding. So I had a lot of different ideas about the world. I had a different outlook towards the world. But because of the entire point of debating, and the entire activity, with talking to different people, discussing, deliberating, debating with them, it gives you a completely new viewpoint to what the other person feels about the same thing. And sometimes it might not be the best what you are thinking, and the other person might give you a lot of insightful knowledge that you were unaware of. So take debating as an activity which makes you learn the most. At some given point of time, you need to realize that competitions are one side, while learning is something that's way bigger than that. So please, 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 at all given points, take debating as an activity that helps you learn, helps you grow, because um, because the trophies and the certificates and the medals that you would get are appreciative of 2 days of performance. But the learning that you would get would stay with you for the next 20, 30 years, all across. So, excuse me. So, just take this activity of debating as something that is a learning platform for you. Now, second part of the session is lobbying. What is lobbying? Lobbying, again, Google gives out a very formal definition telling you that lobbying is to speak to influence someone on an issue. Now, um, in MUNs, what lobbying is that you get out of the formal debate. Okay, you are given a chance to stand up, talk to everyone, um, and discuss your ideas without someone telling you that this is when you can speak and this is when you cannot. So lobbying is when you are so I'm sure if you are in school or if you are in college, you would have these recess breaks, right? During recess for 30 to 45 minutes, the class is empty and all of you sit together, sit around and talk to each other about different things. Now, when you're talking to each other about different things, if you have different ideas, if you have different opinions, and you discuss it, it is completely the same as how you lobby. If you try and discuss it and try to influence someone or someone's ideology when you're talking to them without someone else telling you when to speak and when to not, that is lobbying. So essentially, lobbying is when you just go ahead, talk to your fellow delegates, tell them about what you feel and why do you feel so, and try to make them understand your viewpoint without the formal processes of debate. So in a debate, people would tell you, okay, you have allocated 60 seconds to speak. This is when you can speak. This is when you have to stop. While in lobbying, your entire committee would have 10 minutes. You might be the delegate who speaks for 9 minutes. There might be some other delegate who speaks for 1 minute. While in debate, that might not be the case. So lobbying is when you get out of a very formal notion of debating and try to persuade people, try to get people to a conclusive point. So a lot of times, yeah, that's a very valid question about, all of us have lobbied in life knowingly or unknowingly. A lot of times when we say, take for an example, two friends go to a restaurant, sit together. One of them wishes to have A, the other one wishes to have B, while they can only order one item. If the first person can persuade the other one that both of us should have A and discusses it and influences the other person's idea, that's the first person lobbying with the second person and making them or making that decision changed because of their persuasion or their influence. So, oh yes, I shall cover about misogyny and difficult for girls to lobby. I'll give you a few tips. Okay. So lobbying essentially firstly requires you to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. You need to stand up, you need to go to people, you need to talk to them, and you need to make them understand why do you think what you think is right. So you need to stand up, go from your place, make an effort to talk to people about their ideas and about your own idea of what the topic is. Lobbying comes the best from as much practice as you do. Okay, so initially I have come across a lot of mothers who find that lobbying which becomes informal becomes really tough for them to persuade the committee, or you know to to make the committee understand what they are trying to say or get them to a coherent notion. As much as you practice, you would realize, how lobbying is directly linked to how well you debate. So the fundamental performance of lobbying would come out with how well you debate. So I've seen a lot of times that the better debate that you give, the better speech that you give in a formal debate, the more people will come to you when there is a lobbying session. So if you speak well during this formal debate, people will definitely come to you and try to listen to your argument um, when there's a lobbying session. So um, if your debate is good, your lobbying can be simply good because people are already persuaded and influenced by what you said in your debate. Okay, if your debate is not good, that gives you a weaker foundation of to build upon that as a foundation. So if your debate is not good, people might not be sure if what you're saying is right or wrong. While if your debate is good, people would be sure and people would be very much happy and interested to come to you and talk to you about things. So the more you practice, the more you give good debates, the better your lobbying is. Research and vibrate. So what I mean by research and vibrate is that the more you research, the better it is for you to be vibrating that those points across the committee during a lobbying session. So during an unmoderated caucus, which is something that is not moderated, there are judges, there are moderators, there are chairs in a committee who moderate the debate. So unmoderated caucuses are when the chairs are not moderating. So during an unmoderated caucus, when you're lobbying, when all of you are lobbying, it's simpler for you to vibrate when you've researched well. So lobbying comes out when you're getting out of your comfort zone, when you're giving a good debate, and when you are making an effort to go to people and talk to them to find a solution. Okay. So when you are lobbying, please keep this in mind, and I tell this to each and every delegate that I meet. When you are lobbying, do not think or do not place your priority at being right. Place your priority at listening to the other person and at trying to make a solution or trying to come out with a solution. So if someone says that I believe in A, the other person believes in B, please try that when you are lobbying, the result of a lobbying session is that the result of the lobbying session should not be that after 10 minutes of lobbying, A still believes in A and B still believes in B. The result of this lobbying session should be that A and B both now collectively believe in C, which is a mix of A and B together. Okay. So remember that a good lobbying session is not when you are the most loud delegate in the committee. It is not when you are the most bossy delegate in the committee. It is not when you stand up on a chair and start shouting. It is not where you break out delegate decorum. It is not when you start speaking out of turn and do not respect others. It is not when you try to be disrespectful to others. It is when you try to bridge the gap between opinions in the committee and form a solution. So, at the end of the day, a good lobbying session is when all the blocks come in together to form a solution. And a good delegate is the person who tries to make this process as smooth as possible. Okay, so these are things that I would like you to note down. These are just a few uh, debate structure instances that I've come across that have helped me out craft or build up my debates. my debate speeches and helped me put out things in a better manner. Just give me a moment, I'll have a sip of water. Excuse me. Yeah. So the first structure of debate is is premise analysis and example. Uh, Premise analysis and example means premise is the fundamental idea that you believe in. Okay. Say for all of these examples, our topic is fruits. Okay. So this is a very common topic that that I take and I try to explain things with to all my delegates. Um, Now the premise for fruits is could be that I like fruits. Okay. So when it comes to premise, you need to lay down a fundamental idea that I like fruits. Okay. This should take up 15% of the total allocated time that you have in your speech. So if it is 100 seconds, give this 15 seconds, not more than that. The reason why we have a premise section is so that when the other person's listening to you, the person listening to you has a clear idea of what your stance is. The other person has a clear idea of what you're trying to say. They have a clear idea of which side you are on. They have a clear idea of where you stand on what you feel, on what the topic is. Okay, that's the premise. So my premise example would be I like fruits. Now, after premise comes analysis. What is analysis? Analysis is whatever you've read about fruits and why have you come to a conclusion, which gives out your premise. That means that what have I read about fruits and why do I like fruits now? So analysis comes out that I like fruits. I like fruits because they give me a lot of nutritional value. I like fruits because they have a lot of vitamins and minerals in in them, which gives my body the required energy to work around all the day. So premise, building upon premises analysis, that why do I feel about this way? And the third is example. What is example is that once I've told that I like fruits, second I've told why do I like fruits, third I'll give an example to support this, that hey, if I have an orange every day or if I have an apple every day, uh, an apple or an orange gives me these vitamins every day, or these minerals or vitamins that would help me sustain through my day, and it gives me a lot of energy. It makes my day easier, gives me a lot of energy, which would be an example supporting my premise and analysis. To sum this up, this is like premise is an intro, analysis is a deep down uh, explanation of that intro. An example is something that you're using to support this intro and an explanation. Okay, so this is the first structure of debate that I keep. The second structure is uh, when the debate is already going on, and this is not your first speech. This is a speech that you're giving after say 10 to 12 speaker. The first is the premise. I hope I've cleared what a premise is. A premise is an introduction. Then comes analysis. Uh, Analysis is a deep dive explanation of that introduction. The third is a rebuttal. Now, what is a rebuttal? A rebuttal is for you to get back to any other delegate who does not feel the way you do about fruits. I'll give you an example. So I like fruits. Okay, the topic is fruits. My stance is I like fruits. The other delegate stance is that that person does not like fruits. So my premise would be I like fruits. My analysis would be that I like fruits because say fruits are tasty. Fruits give me energy. Fruits gives me minerals. Now, a rebuttal would be that my fellow delegates said about fruits that I think that is not very valid and very helpful to the committee about, fruits being costly in the market. Fruits are definitely costly. A few fruits are definitely costly in the market, which does not make fruits wrong, or which does not make fruits bad. It is just an indicative factor that some fruits are cheap, some fruits are costly. So by the part rebuttal, I am replacing an example with getting back to a fellow delegate who was speaking different, or who was speaking wrong, or who was speaking a different opinion from what I was speaking, and trying to explain them how their opinion is not the best opinion in the committee. That's the second debate structure example. The third one is when you start off with your analysis of your own arguments. So say you start off by saying that until here I've been giving numerous examples of how fruits are nice, how they benefit the body, how they get humans across the day, how they've been helpful to each and every human get energy and how they can be taken in between meals or in meals, and they're also light. So you start off with giving analysis of your own arguments, then you hop on to the other side of arguments and give an analysis of how they are wrong. So this comes out as that if you're telling me that fruits are not right, you're giving me arguments such as they are not cheap. While we can already tell you that there are a lot of few fruits such as banana which are cheap in the market. These fruits can be easily bought by each and every person. They are a powerhouse. It gives a lot of iron and are useful to each and every human. After this, as the third point, please try to give out your solution. So your solution could be, in a sense, where the person who does not like fruit starts liking a few fruits. Okay. So do not expect that someone who's completely indifferent or so completely opposite to your opinion would start believing in your opinion in a jiffy. They would take time, but your solution should be a middle ground for both the parties. So make your argument in the third phase as constructive as possible, in the sense that when they tell you that fruits are not cheap and that is why we don't like it, you can tell them that, okay, if you don't like fruits that are costly, start liking bananas. Bananas are cheap fruits, which is the third part. The fourth structure is when you try to answer questions in your speech. How this is that a lot of times you would get topics that are completely unknown to the listener. You would see that the audience does not know, or your participants do not know what's going on and what this topic is about. So you try to answer the six fundamental questions that are there in your speech to build your debate. You tell them what fruits are. You tell them when fruits are best to be taken. You tell them why fruits should be taken. You tell them where can someone buy fruits from. You tell them how are fruits beneficial to humans. So these are 5 to 6 simple questions that you can answer in a very constructive format to give out a strong argument of what you believe in. The fifth structure is, and I suggest you to use this when you are falling short in time. Say you have allocated time of 60 seconds, you've rehearsed your speech a lot of times, and it comes out that your speech is coming out to be somewhere around 70-75 seconds. Start your speech by saying that, hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about ABC. Then start explaining A, then start explaining B, and then start explaining C. By this logic, what will happen is that everyone who's in the committee would know that you knew about ABC. Even if you did not get the time to explain C, you would have still explained A and B in the given time format, and C can be given out by you in an upcoming speech. By doing this, the committee will know that you knew about all these 3 pointers. Just because of atrocity of time, you could not talk about C. So this is the fifth structure. The sixth structure is premise, analysis, and rhetoric. So a lot of delegates come up to me and ask me if we can, you know, if we can use poetry, if we can use different jokes inside the committee to, prove a point. Now, that's actually something that has been used by a lot of brilliant orators in this world, and something that I would suggest be done if you have time. So, only rhetoric does not give out substance to your speech. Rhetoric, poems, poetry, or jokes to only be used when you have given your substantial argument, and then to support that substantial argument, quotes, right? Yeah. To support that substantial argument, you are trying to give out a piece of someone's poetry, or if you're trying to give out a quote, or you're trying to take a jibe by cracking a joke. Do this only when you have time. Otherwise, do not do this. I would only always suggest that if you could put out premise analysis as an example and still have time left, go with rhetoric. What rhetoric does is that rhetoric gives influence in committee. It helps you build an influential situation wherein if you take a jibe, if you deliver the poetry well, then the committee is influenced by what you're trying to say. So use quotations, use poetry, use humor as much as possible if you have time left. Structure number 7. Say in case you had to say something while that point was already brought up by some other delegate. In that case, what happens is that you get scared that you might not get marked because that point has already been taken. In such a case, structure number 7 would help you out, where you speak about how a fellow delegate spoke about XYZ that you are trying to build upon or bring in the course of debate, your course of debate. To that, add on a few pointers that are there in your research that, okay, this person spoke about how fruits are nutritious. I would like to add that fruits also, which was very rightly said, fruits also give out vitamins, minerals, energy all across the day, etc., etc., which would be something as one, a very conclusive debate. Second, the judges or the chairs would know that you have been attentive in committee, that you've been listening to others' speech, and you're trying to build upon someone else's speech. So, so you can add you can add different points, you can make additions to others' points, even if that point has been covered partially in someone else's speech. And towards the end, put out a conclusion on how both you and the other delegate have been speaking about the same thing, and leave that on a conclusive note. Yep. So the last structure that I would have is that a lot of times your speech comes out to be the last, and you do not have a lot of pointers left. In such a case, I would suggest you to sum up all the pointers that have been given out to you um, by different delegates. Take a note of them. Make an analysis of whatever they said. Okay. So now summing up other people's points would become your premise. Giving out an analysis of whatever they used to say or whatever they said would be your second main part as analysis, and then give out a conclusion of yes, all of these people said A, B, C, D, E. My analysis of A, B, C, D, E is this, and to a conclusive note, the solution is F. That would make the chairs understand that you've been very attentive. You're trying to bring the committee together, trying to sum up everything, give an analysis, and bring out a solution. Okay, so a lot of times, people tend to think that difficult language, complex language, is something that they can, ace the committee with, or difficult language would help them um, win a debate, which is not true. Use as simple language as possible for everyone to understand what you're trying to say and what you're trying to deliver. Okay? Don't be loud in terms of body language. In this case, what I mean is, please try to be as soft, as respectful as possible, and try not to be intimidating in terms of when you're speaking, because your confidence should come a lot with how much responsibility and how much behavioral positivity you're generating in the committee. Okay. Third is pace of your speech is very important. That means is that at what speed you are speaking is something that you should always keep in mind. If I start speaking like this, things might get difficult for you to understand. So do not be too slow, do not be too fast. Try to make things at a pace which is helpful for everyone. So I think there's been a very good question that, won't it be impressive to use vast vocabulary and complicated things? So essentially, it's not a vocabulary competition. It's a competition, or it's an activity which is for you to try to explain the other person what you think and why you think it. Okay, so um, language is something that comes out of a lot of privilege. Okay, and all of us need to realize that we know a second language as English, which is something that is coming out of a lot of elitism and a lot of privilege to all of us, right? A lot of people might not know the best English words or have the best vocabulary, but at the same point of time, they would have good pointers, they would have good arguments for them to be able to support their ideas and their notions or what they believe in. So do not try or try not making debating a place where you're trying to uh, show off your vocabulary. Just try to make this as a platform where you're trying to explain the other person what you believe in and why you believe in that. Next point is, what you say and how you say things are equally important as the time at what you're saying it. So it's also very important that uh, when you are saying your things is matched with how you are saying it. So a lot of people, what they do is they gulp in each and all the things in one speech and give it out. Don't do that. Give your research in chunks, in different pieces, in different bits, because it's very important for you to strike the right point at the right time. Try not saying unrelated things in your speech. If the topic is about A, please talk about A. Do not talk about C. Talk about C when everyone's talking about C. Okay? Try to listen more than you speak, because when you listen, you get to know what the other person feels and that helps you build your own argument better. If you're not listening to the other person, you won't understand what the other side is on, and that would not help you build an argument, or that would not help you debate well with the other person. Speak less but speak sense. So always remember that it is better to not speak than to speak rubbish. So please speak less but speak sense. Give others a chance and try becoming a leader. These 2 points are very important and really related, and something that I think should come in each and every person when they're doing MUNs. Um, when you are a delegate, right now you might be a first timer. After doing 10 MUNs, you might go to an MUN which has someone as a first timer. Please give that person a chance, motivate that person, push that person to speak out, speak up, because then in retrospect, you would realize how important it is for you as an experienced MUNer to to give others a chance and to try to become a leader in the committee. Now, by leader, I mean is that you are trying to take the committee forward together. So by doing things all by yourself and not caring or being concerned about others, you might go ahead fast, but you might not go ahead far, because a lot of people might not believe in you because you have been in the committee all alone, all by yourself. So please try to be in the committee together with others. Even if other people think differently, try to give them a chance to speak, try to give them an idea, motivation for them to speak up. Make pointers. So if you've seen all of this presentation that I have been giving are pointers. They are not things that I have written down completely. I'm building upon. So I'm checking a pointer, I'm reading it out, and then I'm telling you things, right? So just try to make out pointers like A, B, C. Try to read ABC on that chit and speak. So I'm getting a lot of questions saying that, should we mug up, should we learn a speech, should we, completely remember it, memorize it, or should we read from a paper? If you are starting off with the concept of debating, please start off with a habit to make pointers. By doing that, you don't need to memorize things. You need to just write down five major or six major pointers of your speech. When you're giving a speech, just read first pointer, look at the people, tell them why is this pointer important and what do you feel about it. B, C, D, E. By this logic, you would be reading, you would not forget what you had to say, and also you would be confident enough to speak in front of people. Prioritize these pointers. So these pointers, so the prioritize these pointers can simply come up from this example, right? That make pointers was above prioritize these pointers. So I had to tell you that prioritizing the pointers are important because I have already told you that making pointers are important. Okay. After which comes out, try not to memorize but understand. So when you are memorizing a speech and if you're understanding a speech of what you wrote, it would become very much simpler if you just write down the simple pointers, give out these pointers as your understanding. Don't look down, try to make eye contact. Something that I told you earlier, that if you can't make eye contact, please go ahead, look at people's foreheads, uh, which would be easier for you initially to gradually start making eye contact with others. Speak naturally, and if you're stuck, breathe and try again. Something that I've told you earlier, try to breathe, stay calm and speak. Try to give out your research pointers at the right time. Again, something that I've told you, that timing of these research is very important when you're debating, along with how you're saying things. Teach others what you know about. So when you are trying to educate others, they would start looking up to you, which would make your debating and lobbying both better. Because by that logic, what you're doing is that you're telling this other person what is there, why is it that you feel, and telling them something new. So that person already starts thinking that yes, you know what you're saying, you know what you're speaking, you have an idea, let's agree to this person. Understand your portfolio well. So you would be representing a country or a person at an MUN. Understand what this person or this country feels. Please remember when you're giving out a debate or trying to lobby of what this person feels. I'm sure the previous sessions would have told you this. Just a reiteration about how you should understand your portfolio well. Understanding your audience well. So before joining in this call, my first question to the organizers was that what is the age group? I got to know that this is the age group. In the same way, I will try to explain things to you. So understand whom are you actually explaining things to. If you're explaining things to a third grader, would be very different to explaining things to a seventh grader, would be very different to explaining things to a 12th grader. Give etiquette and breathing pauses. So when you're speaking things, give out breathing pauses for the listener to understand and for you to take a gulp and move out to the next point. Use humor wherever you can in a light manner. So a lot of people find this as very unethical, call it outdated, until and unless your humor is respectful for the entire committee, your humor is respectful and is jolly in the sense to lighten up everyone's mood, it's something that's good enough for you to for it to be there. Ask for feedback. Feedback is something that's important for everyone. When you've given a speech or when you're going to lobby, ask for feedback of how did I do? What do you think could be done better? So that the other person thinks that yes, you value their opinion as well. Okay, yep, I think that is about it. So I'll just, Vinamra, if we have time, can I take questions or
Yeah,
should
yeah,
I?
you can surely take questions. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yep. So I would be happy to take some questions. I'll stop sharing my slides and start with the questions. What makes a debate constructive? A debate is constructive when there is a solution to it, when there are different parties trying to come to a common consensus and a common ground. How will lobbying proceed when there's double delegation? Yes, so that's a very valid question. So few committees have one person specified for lobbying. A few committees have specifically both delegates that need to do lobbying. Irrespective, both of you need to know how to lobby well so that you're good as a team. How to defend China for coronavirus? I don't think that's a question on my session. Please tell again what is a lobby. Yeah, sure. So lobbying is when you stand up and you talk to other people in an informal, unmoderated manner. What is the impact of body language in your speech? Body language actually tells the other person if you are conducive, understanding, or not. It actually tells the other people about how conducive, how rational, how accepting you are as a person, and tells how impactful your pointers could be. Difference between lobby and debate. So debate is more structured, more formatted, more moderated of when you speak, when you don't, while lobbying is more informal, more unstructured, and can be regarded as when you get to decide when you speak and when you don't. Are we marked for our lobbying skills or actions during our mod? Yes. So you are strongly marked for lobbying inside a committee. What to do if other participant gets aggressive in lobbying? Yep, that's a very nice question. Try to be as soft, as calm as possible. If people are getting aggressive, if people are trying to get intimidating, um, try to solve things out with a smile. I'm sure that as chairpersons as well, we try to notice aggression, we try to notice delegate diplomacy, we try to notice all the behavioral aspects of a delegate as well. How to convey someone our ideas if he or she is ignorant. Okay, so if people are ignorant, you can try your level best to make them receptive about how they've been missing out on pointers and ignoring them. Tell them that these are the pointers that you've ignored until now, and try to make this as a language in the committee that the entire committee starts understanding how things are getting ignorant. By doing that, you would have made it clear to the committee that it is not you who is lacking with pointers, it is the sheer ignorance of other people which is creating these issues. Hmm, what isn't lobbying? But yes, lobbying is done in unmods, and you are marked in your unmods. You are definitely majorly marked in your unmods. What is a portfolio? A portfolio is a person that you're representing. Just say I could be representing the Prime Minister of India at some MUN. That's a portfolio. Sir, how to impress other delegates or how to seem to others that you are the pro? Okay, so try not to show other people that you're a pro because you are not a pro. Let me just clear it out. Nobody is a pro right now. These are things that are a part of continuous learning. Even I think even after years of doing this, um, I am nowhere close to, even someone who knows 50% about how debating works. So try to be as humble, as grounded, as kind as possible to each and every delegate that's there in your committee, because that's much more important for you to be right. How to debate against flat earthers? They ignore every evidence against them. There is only a certain extent to which you can debate and try to give evidence. Try to solve the argument. If people get ignorant to evidence, then only to a certain extent you can try to surely clear out their ignorance. What if the majority is against you? It's completely all right. So a lot of times the majority is against you, but the majority is not right. Okay. So try to go to each and every person in that majority, make them feel that their opinion matters. Talk to them about why they think the other side of your argument is right, and try to explain it to them. By doing that, you would be helping the chairs understand that you're putting an effort. You would be able to help the other side understand that you are receptive of different arguments, and you would be able to understand why are these people not accepting your argument. Okay. Why not to use a very strong body language in your speech? Because then you come out intimidating, and if people get scared of you, they would never approach you to talk to you about things. So please do not scare people. It's the worst thing. Try to be as humble and positive as possible. Why lobbying is difficult for girls? How to build confidence? So it's something that's irrespective of, I think, gender. That there are just a few people who try to get intimidating, or try to make you nervous. That is their motive. Try to defeat them by not doing that, by not making that happen. So by that, you need to build upon yourself, practice with yourself about how you believe in yourself and how you believe in your ideas. Keep yourself calm and composed at all given points of time in such cases. Sentiments of Indian population. What do we tell them? That sentiments of Indian population might be very different from facts. So groundbreaking results come from facts, not from sentiments. If we get stuck in between, what to do? Take a deep breath for 10 seconds. It's completely all right to get stuck. Start again. What do we do if we get nervous or make a mistake in our speech? It's completely all right to make mistakes. If you're making mistakes, means that you're making progress. It's okay to make mistakes, as many mistakes as possible. Please make these mistakes for you to be able to make lesser number of mistakes. I make mistakes even until now for doing this for years, right? It's all right if you're making mistakes. It's completely fine. Stop, breathe, start again. While giving example in our speeches, don't we need to quote some country which can be complicated? Is a perfect example, is a great ally of our portfolio. Yes, you need to give out example, and if you're saying it that this other country is wrong, which is your ally, please say it in a diplomatic yet friendly manner. That we believe in China's policy the most, but I think that they are just lacking here a little bit, which can be improved more by better understanding. That's all. What should we do if someone refuses to accept the facts of any topic? Yes, something that I've been telling about since so long. So there is just a certain extent to which you can go and tell people and make them understand what's going on. It's all right. Even if some people don't understand, there is only a certain extent to which you can try to make them understand in a 2 day conference. So it's okay. Doing your best, giving your speeches, lobby with them, but some people get ignorant, so it's okay. Um, what will you do if someone spoke the same point like you? Please tell. Yeah. So I told you, right? Build upon their speech. Try to bring in more pointers. So if you had to speak about A, this person partially spoke about A. Tell them that, yes, I agree to this delegate's point who spoke about A. I would like to add in with that, give out 10 pointers and give out conclusion on how that's right or wrong. Uh, uh, if you make a mistake and other people are talking behind your back to find are talking behind your back and you find motivation out of it, do you ignore it or use just use it as motivation? It's completely all right. If people are talking behind your back, you should know that they can't talk in front of you. So there's definitely something great going on with you. So it's okay. It's completely fine. What should we do? That's a very good question, Manan. What should we do if we are asked a question that we don't know an answer to? So it's completely all right to not know things in life. Tell the person that I'm not aware of this right now. I will get back to you in writing or via speech in a later session. What should focus on while giving a speech? You should focus on premise analysis and example on the basis of your portfolio or your country. Does the real UN also work the same way? No, it does not. I wish it did though. Akshat, what if we are not good at explaining points and mix up all the points? Okay, very good question. So, if the pointers are clear inside your head, they will try to come out to be clear in your speech. So, sort out pointers in your head first and then give out a speech because you will mix up and your head is mixed up. So, what is strong body language? So, in terms of body language, say I've been trying to use my hand movements to tell you if I just use this and if I'm standing like this, and a lot of meetings in the corporate world are when CEOs are sitting like this. This means that I will deliver only the amount of information that you will ask, not a single letter more. While if you're using your hands well, if you're using them properly, then you are trying to tell the other person that you're receptive, you're trying to share as much as you know, you're trying to give them the best out of the details that they asked for. So what do I do with the thing? Yes. So if you think people will laugh, just know that people will always laugh all your life, wherever you reach. You become the prime minister of a country, people will laugh at you. But that should not bring you down. This is a battle that would be inside you that you have to fight, telling yourself that you're good enough, which you can start off by using simple techniques like young schooling debating or speaking in front of a mirror. How can we maintain fluency in our speech? Comes with practice. The more you do it, the more speeches you give, more fluent you get. How to answer IP members? What if we don't know the answer? Just tell the IP members that I don't know the answer. A lot of ministers in our country don't know the answer. They just go to the press and tell them that I don't know the answer to this question right now. How to deal with someone if someone says your points are factually incorrect? You can just tell them how they are correct. Where did you get them from? If you tell them the facts are from an authorized source, that just makes it either legally or factually binding for them to accept. How to rectify mistakes we made in a speech? Just go in your next speech and tell them that I think I wasn't the best with the pointers in the last speech, and I would like to clarify this, and these are the right pointers. Do we have to learn the speech or we can read it out? Both, a combination of both, where you can read out the pointers of your speech. So if you have to give out an entire speech about 5 major things, just write down 5 short pointers about that speech and give it out.
That was really an amazing session. I guess everyone can agree with that. So again, the same procedure for doubts will remain. So like now the next session will be happening on the 29th. So you guys have about 5 days. Maybe go through the old videos again. Come up with questions. Always feel free to contact us. We will keep answering your questions throughout maybe mails or Instagram, Facebook, wherever you text. At the end, this session has been an amazing session. Akshat Bhaiya being himself. Thank you so much for taking this. and I'd like to just thank him and again Triple ID Lucknow for being the support behind us, and United Nations India for helping us for this. So see you guys again on the 29th, and bye bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for such a session. Thanks for calling me. Bye. Have a good
Lucknow
one.
for being the support behind us, and United Nations India for helping us for this. So see you guys again on the 29th, and bye bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for such a session. Thanks for calling me. Bye. Have a good
Lucknow
one.
for being the support behind us, and United Nations India for helping us